everybody. It's showtime. And we're going live tonight to talk about Transformers. I got a guest tonight with me. Might have a few others if others decide to show up. And this is Toys R Russ. He was on the roundtable discussion with us when all of us with the fan circles were talking with Hasbro. And so I figured it would be a good to have you on and we can talk about stuff. So, but I'll wait till some more people show up because now people are going to start to roll their way in, and
that's it.
And with live shows, it's always like a fun thing. So like it just takes a little bit to get started. But Russ is in the UK, so he coming on at was it 11 o'clock at night?
Yeah, just gone past 11 at night. Yeah,
oh, man.
It's no problem. My kids keep me up this late anyway. I said to my wife, I said it's nice to be awake and maybe tired tomorrow morning for a reason being all for me, not for them. So it's nice to change. You've got kids yourself, I've seen, obviously.
Yeah. My two kids. I've got my daughter is 7, and she actually just before we came on, I was eating my dinner and watching Enter the Nightbird, G1 episode with her. And so we're working our way through season 1 and 2, and I'm prepping her. Like, I want her to have seen all 65 episodes of season 1 and 2 before I have her sit down and watch the movie.
Wow.
Yeah. So I want to like capture that, that it, like, I don't want to know if I want to call it innocence breaking, but I'm prepping her for it. She's like, what happens in the movie? I was like,
no, my son did the same. Funny enough, he's 7, and he was a bit like, he's going to come back, isn't he? And obviously I had to say, well, he's a robot. Of course he is. But they're going to build him back up. He'll be okay. And like, thankfully at the end, it says he will return, doesn't it?
You have the British copy. Yeah. No, it wouldn't. In America, it was done. It was over. It ended. None of that.
The very, very end of the British. As I say, when it says Transformers and the music hits, it says, and Optimus Prime basically will return. Which, if it didn't have said, I'd have had a distraught 7-year-old myself. So yeah.
No, for us, we never got any of that.
Oh wow.
We didn't get. I heard you guys got the Star Wars like crawl at the beginning, and then of course the narration at the end. That was only in the UK. That was not in the American version.
And it's crazy the different versions. I mean, obviously of everything that there just seems to be. That's ridiculous.
I think they added that for you because they had already written the Return of Optimus Prime by that point.
That's a good point.
So by the time because it debuted in the UK December 12th of 1986.
Yeah.
For us, it was August 8th.
Wow.
And the Return of Optimus Prime was written, recorded, and sent to Japan to animate in November of 86. So, and it aired February of 87. So
we didn't go too long then. We didn't go too long.
So it was 3 months, literally 3 months from writing it to animating it to airing it. So all of the animation errors that people talk about in the Return of Optimus Prime have to realize that they produced that episode, 2-part episode, in 3 months.
That's pretty that's impressive.
Yeah. It's very, very impressive when you think about it. And they even added on that, like, since they knew they had to add something real quick to let the audiences know in the UK that he was back. He was going to come back, but we didn't even know. Like in America, we just just thought he was gone, and I latched on to Rodimus. So I loved the character like in the movie, and then in season 3, I saw him leading or whatever, and I liked Ultra Magnus. But then as an adult, I really came to appreciate Rodimus Prime's leadership, like the things that he was able to do. But also, if you've ever been a boss, like if you've ever been promoted to manager,
and
everybody, if you ever had somebody, like they compare you to your previous manager
Yeah.
Oh, well, when he was here, he did all this stuff, and when he was here, he did all this stuff. And at that time, I'm watching G1, again, like as an adult, and I'm going, man, Rodimus Prime, I get him, like get him, like it's just like that's that same feeling as a character, and I also remember like the other thing was just like where Primal comes from is Beast Wars, so and that was all season 2 of Beast Wars that really did that. So season 3 needs more Swindle. But I want to say hi to everybody. It's in the comments. We've got 70 people watching now, so it's all fun and games. At this point. So Melvor is in the chat, Larkin's in the chat, Mercenary Terror, Herbert Geddes, Chauncey Howarth. I see you guys chatting away. Paw Patrol, Toku Prime, Stop Motion Reviewer, Warren Lafnier, Stingler. I can name all the sit here and ramble on for a while. Anthony Sanchez, Fishy 22.8, Phalanx, Princeton Phalanx 59.
Yeah.
Slow Decay.
It's quite a few of mine actually as well.
What's that?
There's quite a few of the ones who always comment on mine as well.
That's the thing. Like you sometimes you don't realize there's overlap.
Yeah, of course. That's why again, thank you for this opportunity. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But I figured we would chat for a while. Thank you, Princeton Phalanx. I'll never been to a stream before, he says. Cupid Kisses. So welcome. Yeah. I decided not to go super late, like because I knew I had to respect your time too. I figured I would.
Yeah.
I was going to have you on and talk about Mirage and the toy and all the cool stuff. I figured I would make sure I respected your time first and foremost. But thanking you, Princeton Phalanx, for this. I'll play this.
Stop! Let go of my dad!
Princeton's one who comes on mine all the time. He always interacts. He's brilliant. So it's great that he's jumped on here as well.
Yeah. I sometimes I see a lot of overlap, but recently dropped out of the AI voice scene, was doing AI voices based on Transformers. Oh, okay. I don't really like. I don't do the whole like
Ultra Marcus.
Yeah, well, because
he's great.
There's another video producer out there that like literally I noticed copied the TF wiki pages and mangled them together and started pumping out videos on Transformers.
Wow.
And I was just like, I do the actual research. I watch the videos, I watch the episodes, I watch like I read the comic books, I do all that stuff, so that when I put these videos together, I don't just sit there and have like information that's not researched,
Yeah.
And it's my voice.
Yeah, course,
it's my voice that's talking everything. So Ultra Magnus was the key holder on Black Friday when everyone was calling or texting him out to let him know. Okay.
I think I said Ultra Marcus. Maybe they're getting confused.
Ultra, yeah, probably Ultra Marcus. I haven't seen what he's put out recently.
He's so good.
He does. Like, I love his Zarak voice. It's like
it's so perfect. It's great. It's so funny. There's like a load of UK guys, and we all started it literally, obviously in lockdown at exactly the same time. And me and him pretty much started it literally exactly the same time. So
wow,
always speak to him. It's great.
Nice. There's going to be new episodes of Earthspark on Paramount Plus in March. So they're finishing up season 1, which is the last, I think, or no, they're doing 8 episodes. And I think they're going to do like another, like wait 2 more months and then give you the rest of the episodes, or they're going to do, however it is, they're going to finish season 1. And then they're also greenlit season 2, to my understanding. So, I don't watch Super Bowl. I don't know if you watch it or not, depending on a football fan. I watched the Super Bowl because my wife likes football, so it's kind of like, all right, we'll watch that. And I was like, well, I'm staying and watching it the Transformers. But even though I wasn't rooting for either team, you know, so like it didn't matter to me who won, because the Super Bowl is like a big event.
It's the biggest. It's huge, isn't it? It's actually quite big over here now because it's broadcast live.
Okay.
Couple of friends and like a couple of like places they do, like, as I say, get together, so everybody stays up late and watches it together. So it's getting bigger in this country year by year.
Okay. Yeah. No, I know that you guys have like football, which is soccer.
Yeah.
Your Manchester team or whatever. Like that's like the big thing for you guys.
Yeah.
So, you know, just don't get into any bar fights.
Funny.
So the question he was asking was, hey fans, have you ever heard the original Dinobots? They were not supposed to combine, at least as far as G1 was concerned. The original toys were just designed to be transforming ride-on robots.
Exactly, because they were done before, weren't they? So yeah, so they were never meant to combine.
No, it wasn't until the first time that they actually officially decided to do combining Dinobots was Power of the Primes with Volcanicus, and which is around the time that I made the Dinobots video, which is a video I need to redo. But
I find after
I think he was asking about the Age of Extinction version ones. I don't think that they were supposed to combine. I don't think that they were planning on that, because you know that would be too much for them to even do that. Instead, it was you'll join my family or die. Like that's so how's it going there, Neozoic? Opinions on Mirage. That's what we're going to get to. We're getting to it. I just figure I would chat a little bit, you know, give people enough time to start joining in and chatting before I start getting into everything. You know, I know some people really, some people really love Earthspark. I could take it or leave it. Like, it wasn't as good as I think people make it out to be, and I don't think it was as bad as some people make it out to be, but I didn't care. I mean, episode 8 was probably the one that everyone says like that was the one really good action packed episode that everybody really dug. So, hate the idea of combining Dinobots. Yeah, I agree with you there. So let's see if I can. Where are we? I'm going to share screen.
I think with the combining Dinobots, I think, like you say, if it's G1, it's no, not at all. But like in the newer sort of stuff, you sort of accept it because it's new. It's something different. It's not what it should have been.
Yeah, exactly. Like they could have. I don't know. Like I didn't care for the figure. Like I didn't care for the figure at all. For Volcanicus, like combining him, he was like lanky. He was like the joints were all off. So, oh, there it is. They moved it. So I haven't there it is. So here we go. We'll start talking about some toys. I figure we'll talk about the toys first, since we're talking Rise of the Beasts. And Cheetor, what do you think of them?
I was just really pleased again that the new version, the proper one, wasn't again just a Kingdom remold. I think, as I say, he looks all right. We just had a little chat, obviously, off air, and unfortunately, I've not watched Beast Wars season 2 yet. So but we were discussing as well. I think he definitely looks more transmetal, and again, it's one of these ones that you want to sort of see in hand just to get an idea. So I'm presuming he's going to be about as big as Tigertron, etc. But again, until we see more actual clips of him in the movie, we can't sort of tell how movie accurate he is, can we? So we're a little bit stumped, I think, a little bit.
I think that the studio series figure is more in line with the movie. So, like, I think that the mainline toys that are coming out now, like we've saw like a lot of leaks, and I don't think those leaks are specific to Rise of the Beasts, or if they are, they're not like accurate, I think, to you know, to the actual like on-screen versions of the characters, and that could be to the character, you know, to the action figures detriment. If they're not accurate, they're not going to be sold. So, and then in beast mode, I mean, I do like it. Like the actual cheetah, you know what? I said to you off air, it kind of reminds me of Transmetal and merged with beast machines. Like it's like a mix between the two. And if you've not seen Beast Wars before, you have to wait till season 2 of Beast Wars to really get that reference. But yeah, it kind of looks like the Transmetal Cheetor. I mean, in robot mode, he looks cool too. So
Yeah.
the mouth, yeah, I agree with you there. Like you get a close up of his face and the mouth, it looks off. And yeah, you have to understand when you see Cheetor in season 2, all 3 seasons, he has a normal looking mouth to him. And so it's like you want that character to be accurate. And if he's not accurate, fans are going to have their complaints with him. I dig him as far as like on-screen appearance, but I think if just the mouth.
There's something missing for you in there. You can tell there's just something missing for yourself. You can tell by the way
it looks like something's supposed to be there and it's not.
Yeah.
Like that's where I'm looking at. And then the RC figure, what do you think of the RC? Like not just the toy, but the like what she looks like in the movie.
I think she looks good. Again, they've got her to look that, whether they want it or whether it's intentional or not. Obviously, with them being a robot, she has to. Obviously, she looks a teeny bit feminine, which is great. I think the fact that she's a core class, which is fantastic, because again, it's just if it's studio series, it's got a sort of scale, hasn't it? And obviously, there's going to be a bit of back kibble, etc. But I really like the look of the toy. I've actually got it on pre-order as well to have a look at it. I mean, obviously, we're going to get wheels on the back. She was a big surprise for me. I think when I saw her in the first trailer and saw the toy. I'm really pleasantly surprised with it. Again, I think she looks good. I mean, obviously the scale of them two there looks awful, but we don't know how big Cheetor is going to be standing next to RC in the movie, so you don't really know.
Yeah, well, this is a core class figure versus a standard. I think it's a deluxe.
It's Voyager. He's Voyager, isn't he?
Okay, so it's a Voyager class figure, right? Huge, yeah. She looks good for core class.
Exactly. I think the same. Very good for core class. Very detailed, quite articulate. And obviously, as I say, we've got the wheels on the back as a bit of kibble. But I was on Sam Locke's Instagram the other day, and he's got her in some great poses for a core class figure. It's really good.
In the movie she looks good too. I like how she looks in the movie. I also like the fact that she looks like RC.
Yeah, that's it. That's important.
That's the thing that about her where like, okay, you changed her alternate mode. She's not a car, she's a motorcycle. Her color scheme does work, right? She's pink, she's red, she's black. Okay. It reminds us of RC. You can see the connection between the Bumblebee movie and her in this movie.
Completely agree. Yeah.
Yeah. God bless you. Can't say the same about other characters.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping they explain. Obviously, we're all thinking the same thing. They've got to explain it.
Shout out to Random Black Gamer. He's a good dude. So is Melvor. Melvor is one of my Melvor and Warren Lafley. I know are some of my patrons too, or the patrons or channel members, or one of them. Like it's
same thing, different name. Same thing, different name.
But that's the thing. You see her, you go, oh, that's RC.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. You see her in action. You see her shooting at the Decepticons, or Terracons or whatever. Like you're like, that's RC. That's awesome. Like she looks great. And I think I think that what's the word I'm looking for? When it comes down to the characters, like they should have a sense of recognizability.
That's
you go to a Spider-Man movie and Spider-Man looks like Spider-Man in every single Spider-Man movie. And there's 3 different universes for Spider-Man in the movies.
Yeah.
That he's a part, like the different versions of Spider-Man are a part of.
Yeah.
But we can't get that for some characters sometimes. And I think that Cheetor looks like Cheetor. I will say that. Like you go, okay, that's Cheetor. For RC, looks like RC. And so I think that's pretty interesting there. But let's just bring this up. This guy, because this is what you and I talked about with Hasbro. Yeah. The big question that people were asking, was, hey, did Hasbro have any say on this? And the real answer was not as much as we would have hoped.
And it's good. It's good that we can actually, as you say, discuss this, because again, it's always Hasbro, like I say, who get the flack. They're like, why have they done this to the figures? Why have they done this to the figures? And as I say, we've discussed this. We discussed it with Hasbro in the chat. We briefly discussed it just offline. And exactly that. One of the questions was why it came up. Was one of my questions. It was like, obviously, when we had Generation 1, we had the toys first and they made the cartoons after. So my question was, with regards to the new movies, is it the same thing? And this is what we're alluding to now. It actually isn't. They basically run with it themselves, don't they? The movie company do.
Yep. So it was Paramount and the director and all the designers there. They submitted what they were going to do for the Transformers characters in the movie to Hasbro, and Hasbro just went, okay, maybe you might want to do this. Maybe you might want to do this. This looks kind of like this. Maybe you might want to do this. And then offer their suggestions and let them run with it. And then they came back with, whatever changes they needed to make after that point. And then Hasbro goes, okay, now we'll make the toys, because this is all before the movie even comes out. So Hasbro had already had at least enough say to give them suggestions, but not necessarily enough to, can a character be as recognizable as some fans want them to be? And I want to, put that out there, like that some characters, some fans are not so happy about, like,
and they're aware of that. Well,
oh yeah. Like I am sure people are aware that Wheeljack could have looked like Wheeljack. Oh man. But Mirage, I dig him in robot mode. I know some people have their differing opinions on him, but I actually like him.
I'm with you. I think the same. I think, and again, this made up word that perhaps is going to be used a lot over the next couple of weeks. He's not too Bayversy. He looks robotic. He looks good, but he doesn't have, he's not got too many things going on with him. He's got a normalish robot face, and yeah, completely with you. Very surprised at how much I did actually like the look of him, to be honest.
I mean, there are parts of him that I kind of don't like. Just from a where is the car parts on him? Like I see some car parts, but I don't see all the car parts, and that's because of his frame. Like looking at like where the robot parts are going, and where is like the hood of the car, where's the the back end of the car. Like there are certain parts that I'm like, I don't see him transforming into that car, and so it's kind of messy.
I didn't even think of that until you've said it, but yeah, you're completely right. And obviously now we've seen computer generated images of the toy.
Right.
It's obviously the toy is very different to that. Obviously there's no back kibble on him or anything, is there? So
yeah. So we can actually get into that. I want to go over the trailer too some more, like the Super Bowl spot.
Yeah.
And before I get into yeah, I love that Mirage is voiced by Peter David. His face looks like Peter David. If you look at Mirage's robot face, it kind of reminds me of Peter David. But we now have official images of the Studio Series 105 Mirage turning into his Porsche, and it matches the robot for the most part. Colors are missing in places, and the colors are off in some places. Like Mirage's head in the newest trailer is blue.
Yeah.
Like fully blue. And I give them credit for actually making sure that Mirage has a blue helmet. But his like the other thing is, like, you look at the car mode, and they did a really bang up job of actually getting him to transform into that. But the thing is that this is the toy, and then you look at the robot in the movie, and it's different.
Yeah.
So there is a lot of differences. How does Hasbro, get that into a Transformer story? So Master Hammy wants to know why, what it is that we, I guess us as YouTubers, but also TFW 2005 was on that call.
Yeah.
Sabertron, T-Formers.
T-Formers was there.
Ben Yee would have been on the call, but he's got a few things he had to take care of. We were worried about him. TFU.info was on the call.
Roto man.
Anthony Brucali, the guys from the TF Wiki. And I think it's just like Hasbro wants the people who are able to be like, pretty much all the fan sites and us as YouTubers, I guess, like some of us who are on YouTube, have a connection at least enough with Hasbro that we almost pretty much act like a liaison for the fans, in my opinion. I know, and I don't necessarily know if that's the same case with some of the others who are on the call, but I always want to be a liaison for the fans. You know what I mean? I want to be able to say, hey, I have an opportunity to ask questions to Hasbro. What do you want to know? And I can kind of like see what I can ask. You know what I mean? That's how I always try to be professional with it, but I'm not like anything. I don't think of myself as anything special just because I have 98,000 subscribers. Just because I have 98,000 subscribers on YouTube doesn't make me anything more special, than let's say TFW 2005 or, anybody else. Like, I don't think I'm that much more special, but it's a privilege, it's an honor, really, in my opinion, to be able to even talk to Hasbro. So, but I want to like the Mirage, but there's just something that feels off to me. And I can see where that's the thing. Like this is a render. So this is not the completed figure. And we haven't seen what it looks like. The paint applications are going to look like. So they wanted to reveal the toy, and look at this. Look at the kibble on him.
Exactly. That's what you mean. When you just showed the picture of the live action, there's none of that. There's no doors. You nailed it. There's no parts.
The wheels are there on the back of his legs. And he's got wheels back up here. And getting another look at that robot. He's holding a blaster, I think, in this. Yeah, if you actually look at this is the back of his arm. Yeah. I think the blaster is detachable. Does it look detachable?
I think so. I think it's got to be. It's a deluxe figure, isn't it? You think it's got to be?
Yep. So at least that's one accessory. At least he can have both fists because he's got to be able to do the fist bump.
Of course, yeah.
Right? He's got to be able to do that fist bump. So they're probably working on a early render. Like this was probably the earliest render of Mirage, and any changes made making the helmet blue were probably done after the fact.
I would think so.
At least that's what I think. But the toy looks okay. They're doing what they can using toy physics.
Yeah. And it's great
to what Paramount went, let's just and then make a robot. Like, where are the truck parts? Where are the car parts going? That's why I think like, we Generation 1 fans, like we grow so attached to it. I would even say Beast Wars fans too, because we want to see that. Where does that part go?
Yeah, right.
I love it when, Toei was kind of Toei was pretty bad at it, but so was ACOM. Sometimes they would animate it like the animation for the transformation was like, whatever, it would do the same thing. But I always loved it when there was the animation of like Optimus puts his hands out like this, and then he like folds and transforms.
Yeah,
you see it happen, because the toy does it that way. Megatron, the way he reconfigures his body does work for the transformation, even like making certain things move in certain places, but then stuff appears. That's just considering how complex movie designs are, especially in this rebooted continuity, it's not too surprised that there was so much kibble on the toy. Yeah, I agree. Like the parts have to go somewhere.
That's it. Yeah. And especially as we say, it's at the deluxe price point. It's not a masterpiece. It's not a lead. They've got to go somewhere.
Deluxe movie figures should embrace car parts in their bot modes. I always love it when they're included. Yeah, like so you want to be able to see the car. How does this transform into that?
Yeah.
This is the first appearance of Stratosphere.
I think it is as well. Did they confirm it? But it's got to be, hasn't it? It's got to be Stratosphere.
Yeah, it has to be because he's voiced by John DiMaggio, to my understanding.
Oh, okay. So he's definitely in then. Brilliant.
Yep. So we already know that. And then Bumblebee, for the first time, actually in this new rebooted continuity, shows off his wings. Like the doors pop out
Yep.
and turn into wings, which I kind of think is all right.
That reminds me of the Ultimate. Remember the Ultimate Bumblebee figures, the huge ones? That's what the wings, the back doors, didn't they?
Yep.
Like that.
They wanted to restore that. I miss I like the roof of the car being Bumblebee's chest plate.
Yes. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, I like the hood of the car being his feet, his big honky feet. I just something about that design that just I like it for that character.
Yeah.
B looking like he's going to recreate the scene Dark of the Moon, the game. Oh, okay. Yeah, a lot of folks believe the live action designs are they should go ahead and turn Bumblebee into Goldbug, and I did a Goldbug video too recently. So
they can't, though, can they? Obviously, because if it's a prequel, and obviously we know that Bumblebee's Bumblebee in the 2007 movie, which is obviously after this one, so I don't think they can do that.
It's not the same continuity. It's not the same continuity. Brian Goldner, before he passed, said that it was a new storytelling universe.
Right. Okay.
And that was the telling that Bumblebee was the start of a new continuity. So, because this movie is the sequel to that, and they're not leading into the 2007 Transformers. That's why the ending is different. Because it wouldn't make sense with the way the movie ended. That's actually Nightbird there in the back.
Yep.
There's RC.
Yep.
So this is all during that chase in Machu Picchu. So Mirage has to get out of the way of RC falling. So we get to see like I thought this was kind of neat with the whole chase sequence, the way that things are going on. Here's where fans are going to really voice their opinions. That face. What have we done to my boy's Prime's face, man?
That's right, isn't it?
Oh gosh, I've never ever liked the idea of Optimus not having a faceplate that moves up and down and stays that way. They did it in the Bumblebee movie and it worked. Bayverse tells that Bumblebee was on Earth during World War II, which was supposed to be when Bumblebee came here, according to Bumblebee's original opening.
Yeah, that's
like the original opening that got edited, that got changed to the opening that we have now. The opening and the ending. So it was changed out of Bumblebee. So it takes it out of the Bayverse continuity. So if they were just give B the horns and a normal face, I'd be satisfied. I don't care if they take Cliffjumper's head from the Bumblebee. See, like, yeah, that's the thing. Like, a lot of people, I don't know about you, like, do you get any like flack for being a G1 fan?
Sometimes. I think in the UK we'd call like G1ers or something like that. I think you probably get more flack in the UK for being a Bayverse fan, to be honest.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, honestly, yeah.
Like I've said this, like I remember being so hyped for that first 2007 film, and then it came out. You know what I mean? And then it came out.
Yeah.
So a lot of us older fans, we were really like clamoring on for it, but now there is this reverse thing that's happening. A lot of Bayverse fans are like, you stupid G1ers, like, oh man, like, just because like we don't like something like this. I don't like Prime with this. I don't like the face on Prime, and I don't like him without the faceplate up. Just don't.
Right. Well, again, that's it. He's never had. I mean, in all the time, as you say, you mentioned again, you were watching the cartoons with your daughter, and I mean, just the first 2 seasons, as you say, the 65 episodes of the first 2 seasons. Never mind everything else that came after. For G1, so it's pretty much staple that he needs that faceplate, isn't it? Let's be honest.
Yeah. So I mean, I look at this particular. For a movie that's supposed to be set in a new continuity, they're still relying heavily on Bayverse designs. Exactly. Like, that's the other reason why I think a lot of fans are like, what the hey, like you really like you let us on with Bumblebee by giving us a lot of G1 esque design.
Yeah.
And I'm like, finally, like this is the like that this is what I wanted to see in 2007. This is what I wanted to see.
Yeah.
There were so many moments in the Bumblebee movie that I was just like, this is what I want, we should have gotten in 2007. I remember vividly saying that in 2018 in the movie theater.
Yeah.
So
that's it. We all, again, funnily enough, us G1ers, as we're called, we all say, you know, the opening, whatever, 4 or 5 minutes of that Bumblebee movie is the best live action 4 or 5 minutes in all of the however many hours combined. It's just phenomenal. It's exactly what we wanted to see. Does Hasbro watch your videos? Yes,
they do.
They do. They watch our videos. I know they do.
I know that they do because I remember watching your interview with Evan and Mark, and they even said they watch our stuff. So
yeah, that's it. That's it. He said he obviously I had a figure. He wouldn't let on the video which one it was. But I think there's a couple of them which might be quite obvious because I've got all the Japanese figures, and as we said, it was 2 years ago, and all of a sudden 2 years later we're getting all these really big Japanese figures.
Exactly. Like they wanted to see more Japanese stuff. So
yeah, that's it. So
I mean, Bay fans get also get hate for liking the movies. No. That's not. I wouldn't say that is true. I don't think G1 fans hate Bay fans.
Not at all.
Not at all.
I look at it the way as I think somebody worded it brilliantly. I can't remember who it was, but it was a few years ago, and I think even Mark Mahara, sort of went around it the same thing in the round table. That obviously we were lucky that we had G1, but obviously if your first experience of the 2007 movie and you loved it, then that's your G1, and nobody can change your opinion on that. And that's it. If you love that.
My issue is not with the people who like the Bay films. My issue is with the films themselves. Like, so like that's just like my thing, and I don't have any disrespect for people who enjoy the live action films at all. Like I'm happy that there are more Transformers fans now than there were in 2007. In 2007, I remember like you're in your 20s and you like Transformers, like that was like a kids thing in the 80s. Like, yeah, I like Transformers. Now it's, oh, you like Transformers, those robots that pee on people.
Like, no, exactly that. Yeah, I know. It's.
Do you wish that
the movies could be better?
Okay, so this is a good question. Do we think that Mirage should have been? I mean, it should have been Tracks.
It should have been Jazz. We all know it should have been Jazz.
But the car, yes.
But I think the thing that they've obviously the problem that they've got is obviously they use the Mirage hologram. So with Tracks, they perhaps could have used Tracks, and it could have been Trax's smoke, maybe.
Yeah.
But I think obviously. Yeah, we don't know what goes on inside their head. We don't know why Wheeljack is a VW camper van. We don't know why. We obviously understand that Mirage can't be a Formula One racing car riding.
Yeah,
we understand that. We're not.
I've said this time and time again. I don't have an issue with updating an alternate mode that doesn't work for them in the films.
Yeah, of course.
I want the characters to, number one, in robot mode to look like the characters, and I want them to have the personalities that I come to expect.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Oh, there can be new versions, and it's like Hound, Jazz. Like Jazz in the first film was who I envisioned Jazz to be.
Yeah,
right. And he was just a cool guy, and like we could have gotten him in more movies, but they killed him off.
It's right. He was one of the best.
I understand.
He was one of the best
at that
characters.
time, Porsche wasn't on board with there being a Transformer.
Yeah,
with a Porsche alternate mode. Now they're like, oh yeah. So Porsche comes to Paramount and says we want to use Porsche as a Transformer, and they go, sure. Mirage, yeah. Like, and that's what ended up happening. And then they deliver it to Hasbro, and Hasbro goes, is this not Jazz? I'm sure. I don't know what Hasbro. I honestly don't know what Hasbro's response was. They probably just went, "Oh yeah, kind of cool," like whatever, you know. But because they're does Hasbro tell us things that we're not allowed to say? Not often, but most of if they're telling us, it's public.
Yeah,
or
like
allowed to become public. And so you and I made sure whatever we asked was cleared to talk about. Like, we don't work for Hasbro. We're not employed by Hasbro.
No, not at
We
all.
just ended up on the round table.
Yeah.
So like just as much as TFW 2005, a big giant fan website, or T-Formers or Cybertron, they're fans like us. They run fan community, and they have enough connection to be able to have a conversation with Hasbro.
Yeah.
Slight deviations aside, I don't think 07 Jazz gets enough credit for being G1 accurate. Thank you. Yeah, the visor, the karma, like, yeah, the differences in Bayverse Jazz was minimal. Yeah. I recognize Jazz. Ironhide.
Yeah.
I know people really love Bayverse Ironhide, like really, really love Bayverse Ironhide. I think the alternate mode is great. It would have been great if he was red.
Yeah.
And if he had that G1 Mohawk helmet design, the Centaurian like looking helmet design, you know, then we would have went, then G1 fans would be like, oh yeah, that Ironhide is kick ass. Like, straight up, like there is a fine line between what G1ers. I hate using that term. I really, really hate that term, G1ers, like GEEWUNNERS. I hate that term. Hate it. Because it's insulting. How dare you like G1, you old fogey? It's so you're the same bully that I was dealing with in 2006 and 2007, saying there's Transformers movies coming out. There's Transformers movie coming out, and you're in your 20s and you like Transformers.
That's right.
Same bully. Now they're the Transformers fans of the Bayverse, and they hate us just the same.
Right. Can't win.
Yeah. So if the Bay films use the Bumblebee designs and stuck true to the characters' originally personalities, particularly Onyx, do you think it'd be much better reception? Yes. Yeah.
Simple answer. Yes.
Yes. It's not just the robot design, it's the personality. Yeah, especially personality with Decepticons. Name me a Bayverse Decepticon that has a personality.
They don't even seem to not get Starscream's right. You know, Starscream, he's one of the easiest characters, shall we say, to replicate, and they can't even get that right.
Random Black Gamer's comment here is so on point, because I can't express to you how much I dug Beast Wars. Like, Beast Wars was awesome. Like, everybody clamors on about the animation, but I go watch it, man. Go watch Beast Wars. Like, it's so good. Like season 2, when season 2 begins, like, it gets, like, I would say the last, like, once they introduce all the characters, they introduce like brand new characters, like with Tigertron, and then Black Arachnia at the beginning, and then they introduce Inferno and Air Razor, or Air Razor then Inferno, and then at the end of the season, like, it's this big cataclysmic event of season 1, and then season 2 begins, and they realize they're on Earth, and it gets real. Like, season 2 of Beast Wars was awesome. So Nitro Zeus, yeah, I would say Nitro Zeus was neat. He had, like, there was personality with him. Like, but he, like, it's so terrible that Nitro Zeus actually got a personality in such a bad movie. I don't hear very many Bayverse fans defending The Last Night, other than like cool things like Nitro Zeus for being a brand new Decepticon with a personality.
Yeah. That film was awful. I'm sorry to say it really was.
I do. What do you think about the did you know about the size changing with Beast Wars?
How do you mean? As in just, of course, how that the mass changing effect thing, that sort of thing, or
No. In Beast Wars, the robots were maybe about 7 to 8 feet tall.
right?
So when they turned into animals, Rhinox was in scale with a rhino, Cheetor was in scale with a cheetah, but Rat Trap was a little big for a rat.
Yeah,
Megatron was a little small for a T-Rex. But they were all about that tall. So when they meet the Beast Wars characters, I mean, when they meet the G1 characters later on in season 2, the G1 characters are massive.
right.
So like you have this like iconic scene where like Beast Wars Megatron goes face to face with Optimus Prime. And like it's a robot about this big on screen and it's Optimus Prime's face. Like me as Optimus Prime and then Beast Wars Megatron's maybe about is like standing like about that tall. Like it was so cool. Like it like I like this that that size, scaling, but in Rise of the Beasts, they're going to be the same size as the Autobots and Decepticons.
Right.
So they really, really were going so fast. Now, this hologram technique technically is Hound's trick.
I suppose so. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Technically, Hound's trick. But Mirage's profile does say he can do it too.
Yeah, of course.
So, something though, when I'm thinking about the car, the actual Porsche, the colors remind me of Prime Smokescreen.
Yes.
The car itself, everyone thinks is Jazz.
Yeah.
Right. And of course the robot himself is Mirage. So everyone's like, how come he's using Hound's trick? How come he's using Hound's trick? But I'm like, well, Mirage and Hound both have like different types of abilities like that. So I thought it was kind of. I also like that they got this cop car for the movie because that is a '90s New York City police car.
Yeah.
So, because currently most of the police cars nowadays are white with blue lettering.
Yeah.
And in New York City, and there a lot of them are SUVs. Like if you notice a lot of police vehicles now, or I don't know how it is in the UK, but a lot of police vehicles I see now are SUVs.
No, as stand out a mile, as have got like a blue and yellow pattern all over, literally all over it. So they would stand out a mile compared to that. But yeah, last time I went to New York, you're right, it was just white with NYPD written in blue on the sides. Yep.
So, but getting back to this robot, there it is. He's so clean looking in the movie.
Yeah.
Now, do you know who Sixo is?
Yeah, no, Sixo. Speak to him quite a bit.
Yeah. I mentioned this to Sixo, and he kind of loved this idea. That helmet looks like a cross between Hot Rod and Sideburn.
I suppose so. Now you've said that, yeah.
And he was like, "Oh yeah. Yeah, 90s would have been a Crown Vic, I bet. Yep. Okay, Crown Victoria." So, but he's so clean looking. This robot is very clean. I like it. The face looks like Peter Davison.
We were saying this, what it does.
It really does.
I really like it. I said to yourself as well, I said, and made up word that we're going to hear loads of over the next 2 weeks. It's not very Bayversy. That's what I think that's why it looks good. That's why it looks clean. It's not.
I do wish that he had more, like some of the robot bits were not showing in some places.
Yeah.
But that's a nitpick.
Yeah, it wouldn't hurt if you saw, like you say, 2 wheels, one on each shoulder. It wouldn't hurt at all. That'd be fine.
Yeah, because I think the wheels are on his back.
Right.
But on that toy, they were like sticking out.
Yeah.
So like, it's just getting like here he's smiling and he's kind of like standing back or whatever. Yeah, get out of the way, Mirage. Yeah. So like in motion, he looks fine. Like, you can make him out. He kind of looks neat. I like the color scheme on him. This panel right here, this like weird shaped thing on his chest, kind of reminds me of G1 Mirage. Just a
Yeah.
little bit. Just a little bit. Not completely, but kind of reminds me of it a little bit. Just that T, because the G1 Mirage, you know how like the Formula One transforms, it like
Yep.
floats forward.
Yep.
And then because of it, there's that opening that would be his head.
Yeah.
And because of that, it gives him that like weird U-shaped thing there.
Yeah, neckline.
That's what this reminds me of. I'm trying to see things and I'm like, okay, I also like the fact that he's got like a belt thing going on there with like the way the robot parts come together. I dig it. I'm actually praising, it's funny, I'm praising a live action design. I mean, I've said this about Jazz too.
Yeah, it's
The
good.
toy, on the other hand, looks like Jazz.
It does.
It looks like Jazz.
Somebody commented on one. I did a little brief rundown again of the trailer, and someone said it wasn't a trailer; it was a Porsche advert. I suppose they're right, because it literally was just the Porsche, teeny bit of robot, the Porsche, teeny bit of robot, and then even the Porsche badge at the end in Transformers.
Like, this looks like a better robot than the toy. The toy looks like a new movie Jazz.
Yeah.
I can picture them redecoing him in the Jazz.
Definitely. Just make him white. Keep the blue stripe white, like they did with the Target exclusive of the 2007 version.
Yep.
They did the same then, didn't they?
Like, they can literally turn him into Mirage or give him a different head and make him Jazz. Like, that's the thing. They could literally do that if they wanted to. And fans would probably go, I'd buy that.
There's enough Jazz at the moment.
It looks like he has the flux. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You know what?
Like Gigawatt.
Yeah. You know what? I could see that. That's a flux capacitor.
There you go.
What does he say? He's like, I like the gloves, brass knuckles design they did with his hands. Yeah, I like that too. I like the fact that he has actual malleable looking fingers.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say he looks. Oh, I see what you're saying. Maybe this right here makes him look like Sunstreaker. This is supposed to be like headphones on his helmet. Like, it's supposed to be like their head, like they're actually like a thing that goes around
in the back. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you can kind of see it the way he's like. That is Peter Davison's face, man. They straight up put Pete Davidson's on a
robot.
Yeah, it kind of looks like real steel. That Angama said it there. It's crazy that the last media appearance of Jazz was Transformers animated. No, Robots in Disguise 2015. Jazz showed up in the Align continuity. Yep, it's just basically Pete Davidson, the robot.
Yep.
I thought this part was funny when he goes, nah. Yeah. If you grew up at all in New York City, yeah, that's if they can get New York lingo, the fact that the movie takes place in New York, we got Pete Davidson is from New York. The casting is perfect, youthful yet anti-authoritarian. Yeah, but that's not the character of Mirage.
No.
Who is Mirage, Russ? Let me ask you. Besides the disappearing, what is Mirage's known personality traits in G1?
He's known. I'm trying to think because the words to actually put him down to. He's very reliable, isn't he? I think he's reliable, but his personality was. I'm just trying to think. He's got like the voice of that character is nothing like the G1 voice character at all, isn't it? The voice is, I suppose, the key.
Mirage was a rich cat.
Yeah,
he was a rich guy, he lost his home to the Decepticons and joined the Autobots, but he never wanted to fight.
No.
And he joined the Autobots to fight the Decepticons because his home was destroyed. But then when they left Cybertron, he was homesick.
He was always homesick all the way through, wasn't he?
Always thinking about Cybertron.
Always wanted to go back. That's one of his line. That was his line.
Relax and get a 2-car garage like that. That's Mirage. Like Mirage was, but he was a reliable scout too.
Yeah,
he was a trickster a little bit. Like he tricked the Insecticons into thinking that. But that's his personality. So this Mirage personality is not the anti-authoritarian New York personality, is more in line with, I would say, maybe Trax, Hot Rod, Sideburn, those characters. Hot Shot, like those are the characters that we think of when we think of like
slightly
who they are. But it's Mirage.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to like point out that like there are certain other characters. Yeah, he was the Autobot spy who the Insecticon bombshell put a mind control device in his forehead. That's right.
Yep.
Remember love that. Trax. I love Trax and Raoul. Have you ever seen? You remember those 2 episodes too? Autobop and Make Trax.
Yeah,
great episodes. Took place in New York.
Yep.
That the train that goes from that the Bop crew when they were going home, and then like I was trying to pinpoint where that train was in New York.
Wow.
Because I know that it's a line that goes from Manhattan into the Bronx. So it actually runs all the way from the Bronx through Manhattan all the way into Brooklyn. So yeah, this Mirage could have been any character at this point, right? Blue Streak, yeah. But it's because like Trax was the guy who like got a friend in New York. So that's why I think of that character. But this Mirage is cool. Like there it is, the flux capacitor. And then I said that you can see the wheels there on the back of his shoulders.
Yeah, you can now.
Because on this toy, like in this image, it's kind of like weird like that because the wheels are odd here.
They look big. They look too big for the car, don't they, as well? They look like 4x4 wheels.
There's definitely mass shifting going on for the movie.
Yeah.
Definitely mass shifting. Definitely subspace storage pocket for this robot kibble too. All this, the car doors, the weird back of the stuff. Larkin!
Hey, how's it? I'm still working, but I got like 30 minutes free. And I just wanted to hop in and say hi to you guys and hang out a bit.
On?
And say hi to Toys R Us, man. This guy has such an awesome collection.
Thanks so much. Thanks. Really appreciate it. And you're a genius.
Every time you upload a video, man, I get so envious.
Just lucky. Just managed to get them all way, years and years back. There's only a few that I've had to add to my collection recently, thank heavens, because yeah, they've gone a bit crazy. But I mean, you're a genius with the things that you're pulling up at the moment and making. It's amazing stuff you're doing, and you're blowing up as well. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, Larkin's blowing up with them shorts, man.
Blowing up, ridiculous.
It's it's a little out of control though, because it's so random, right? Like my shorts, they get like lots of views, but then my long form, like I tell folks, my long form, I'm probably more like a under 10K sub with the amount of views I get with my long form. But
long
my
form
short
is having a tough time for all of us. Like I do it, like you know how much work I put into my long form.
Yeah,
content.
Yeah, definitely.
You know?
It's weird. It's a weird space, and I just don't. I think the AI algorithm, whatever you want to call it, has not fully settled or learned itself what it needs to make everything work yet. If it would ever, I have no idea. Maybe it's working the way they plan. I have no idea.
It doesn't make a difference what hour that you put it. I tend to find to do a little bit better by putting things on about this sort of time, but that's obviously because a lot of my viewers are American. But with regards to hitting the crazy numbers, it's just pot luck, isn't it? You can put something on in like a short and like literally it'll do 200 if that, but then sometimes you can put it on and you can't keep up with it. It's crazy.
It's but you know the craziest part for mine was the demographics of my channel changed drastically. Like most of my viewers are not in America.
Right.
They're in India, Indonesia. They're like like when I look at the best times to post videos, it's when I'm asleep.
That's the same for me, for the Americans. Yeah, it's the same for me.
But hey, this is cool. I didn't see the trailer yet, but I did see some of these pictures here and there. That's Mirage?
That's
Wow.
that. Yeah, this is Mirage. The car mode, and then the robot mode.
That looks like Mirage identifying as Jazz.
You see, everybody says the same thing. He looks like Jazz.
It's Jazz.
I would report to Prowl some kind of stolen identity going on here.
I know.
Seems
right?
like tell Jazz check his credit cards and what he's charged because somebody's out there looking like him.
That's Pete Davidson's face, man.
Who's that? Is that Air-Razor?
It's still
No, that's Mirage.
That's Mirage? How come
Yeah.
the toy looks so different?
Yeah,
That's what we're
he does the
discussing.
fist bump thing here. Like, look at this face. Like, that is Pete Davidson's face.
Ah. It must have been see, from what I understand, aren't these CGI models made first and then the Hasbro has to figure out a way to turn them into transforming toys?
Yeah.
Yes.
And Hasbro does give initial feedback.
Okay.
So that they can go, hey, how do we turn that into a toy?
I'd hate to be the designer who gets like, hey, this is the start and this is the end. Make it happen.
That's right.
Yeah, there's the fist bump thing. And that's why I said, like, he's got to be able to take that gun out of his But there it is. Like, that helmet design, what do you think of it?
It's okay. I a lot of the stuff with the movies, they have the same names. They just don't. It's like I'm looking at. I don't know. I guess if your name's Joe. If I look at another Joe from the other part of the world, it's like what I'm looking at. That's named Mirage. I'm not looking at the one I know.
Yeah. Would have been fun for this movie, but I suppose there'd be issues trying to faithfully transfer his alt mode. Well, they weren't going to translate his car mode anyway.
Yeah.
What would they ever do that?
I mean, yeah. I mean, why don't they make them? I don't know. I guess I know why they use the names over and over again for copyright, but I would say, why not make them a new character, like new name or something?
Could have done, yeah.
Oh, that was the other thing that I wanted to TF Wiki. I wanted to bring up Mirage really quickly here.
Just grabbing my iPad.
Mirage has, like, most of the time he's always a Formula One.
Yeah.
Most of the time. Like, but until he was one time was not.
And you know what? I wouldn't mind if he had the colors, but the head, they could have done something to give him, because Mirage has sort of an iconic looking head.
He has an iconic looking helmet design. Yeah.
Yeah. That's
the thing that I've always said about, like, live action Transformers. At least make the character look like the character.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all I make the character have the personality of the character too.
Yeah.
But I mean, even here, like, remember the classics toy.
Yeah.
Turn into a Formula One racer. And then like when has Mirage not been, like, the only time he wasn't, at least as far as this version of Mirage, like, even looking at disambiguation of Mirage, like here, Robots in Disguise 2001 was a Formula One. And then this is like the exception here. And this exception was Tidal Wave. Like, Tidal Wave got rebuilt. It was actually Shock Fleet or Shock Wave, because in Japan, Shock Wave is named Laser Wave. So Tidal Wave in Japan was Shock Wave, and then Shock Wave became Shock Fleet.
You
But
know, for me, I don't really mind the names, but if they're trying to make it connected to G1, they have to feel more G1. Like I didn't mind Beast Wars using Inferno, Silverbolt, but we understood the story was, you know, what was it, a couple hundreds of years in the
right.
future, right? You know what I mean? There was I understood why, you know, we knew they were not the same because they've so far. If they either made the movies as like, okay, we're past this part, we're at this timeline in the world of Transformers, and this guy's happens to be Mirage as well, right? Or you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, looking at him, he doesn't. I mean, the helmet looks okay. Like I love the fact that it's blue. Number one.
Yeah.
You know, I think they were trying to give him the headphones to try and emulate both headphones and a G1 esque Mirage with like the fanning out thing that you know the G1 Mirage helmet does, but it
Yeah, it
looks
comes
more
out
hot
at the
rod.
bottom, doesn't it?
What's that?
You're right. It comes out at the bottom. I'm looking at it now, same as you. I'm looking at it.
Yeah. But it's more like Sideburn and Hot Rod. You know, Cyber from 2001 Robots in Disguise.
Yeah, funnily enough, I haven't looked. I had Sideburn out the other week because I got the botcon, the clear ones. I did a video on that one, so that's a beautiful version of it. Have you seen that one?
Is it just me, but the recent designs are a little more humanizing, like with the glasses, with the headphones,
Yeah.
with
Shot
I don't know.
And they have accents now, which is crazy.
I mean, some were thinking this because this is just a Hot Rod redeco.
Yeah.
As Sideburn.
What was the Japanese one called? I can't think. I've got it there.
I
did a video on it. The clear one. Something burn. Is it side burn or something? Can't think. But yeah, just literally done an update on that.
You know, that's kind of what I think about when I think of this character. You know, is he going to start chasing red cars? That was hilarious. Have you ever seen Robots in Disguise 2001?
Only a couple of them, but I've not seen. I know which one you're referring to. I've heard about that.
Sideburn would always chase red cars.
Yeah, we could chase road rage, can't he?
And then watch road.
But even the Robots in Disguise, it's like we knew they weren't the original G1s, right? You know what I mean?
They were new characters.
So, yeah, if so, because even if they had the same names and they deviated, they weren't trying to be, you know, retelling our story, right?
Well,
they're building upon it.
The anime, all the robots were different names anyway.
Yeah,
they were all different characters to begin with. Like Prowl in Robots in Disguise was Mach Alert.
Yeah, Mach Alert.
And it was not X-Brawn, it was what was the name? I know it was Speedbreaker and not Sideburn.
That's it. That's the one I'm on about. There you go, Speedbreaker.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh man. Oh, that's a clear one.
Yes, the botcon version, Japanese.
Yes, Skybite would have been hilarious. Can you imagine Skybite the Sharkiest showing up, coming out of the water and going, you know, let me say in haiku or something? It would be hilarious.
That would be great.
2001 Robots in Disguise was kind of fun. And anything smart, but it was fun, silly anime from the early 2000s. Yeah, definitely.
And I think from toy wise, there was really nice toys.
Yeah,
from that line.
Like that that Sideburn transformation process again. That was way ahead of its time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. The three car brothers.
Yeah,
they were really good transformations.
Yeah, it took a lot of. You had to like really figure out like where things went. I'm like,
but it's so funny though. Later on, the I guess parents complained of the complexities because, and then we got more simplified Armada.
Oh, my
after.
Don't get me started on Armada's toys. I am not a fan of those toys. Not at all.
I'm glad some of them are getting done in Legacy. So
the Optimus in Robot and in Armada, the full trailer combining one has less articulation than G1.
Yeah, it's true.
Like you could barely even, you can't even move his legs. You can just kind of, I think you can kind of bend them at the knees a little bit.
It's nearly as bad as God Jinrai, isn't it? Where you've got like the legs that don't do anything.
But you know what? I was fascinated by it for the auto transforming thing. Like once I started working on the small robot, the trailer started moving. I found that fascinating though. But it's one of those things that you fast forward 20 years, you're like, oh, that. How come we don't have anything more cooler? That was 20 years ago, and shouldn't we be able to have like a fully transformable auto transforming with articulated, at the same time?
The gimmicks are going to be expensive though. So Megatron, leader of the Decepticons, gives a super chat and says that Transformers peaked with Prime and animated. Also Hasbro, that doesn't like, he doesn't like I don't care for Autobot Megatron.
No. And
Morally Gray Optimus, I do not care for it either.
But that's more for the comic book. I don't think like none of their major fan. I don't know, like Cybertron, right?
Kind of
Earthspark.
I
didn't really watch them.
Yeah. I know you kind of bowed out. I think around episode 3 or 4. I think it was right.
Yeah.
That's what I'm. That's it. Isn't it? I've not finished them either. Don't worry.
So for that super chat, Transformers more than meets the eye. Autobots wage their battle to destroy the evil forces of the Decepticons, the Transformers. The Transformers more than meets the eye. The Transformers, dun 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 dun. So
I gotta say, what gets to me about Earthspark though is it was so easy for them to get a second season, and when it came to War for Cybertron, it seemed like just pulling teeth to get episodes, right? And then all of a sudden you say, oh yeah, a second season. First season's not even done.
Yep,
and they're already approved for a second season.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Well, to my understanding, and I know that there's a guy who's on Twitter, and he's the guy who did all the he was able to get the color charts made for like recently for like trying to make what would the colors be accurate to the animation cells from G1. He goes by Grim on Twitter. I think he said to me that pretty much what you normally see is that Netflix or Nickelodeon, they order a number of episodes.
Yeah.
And it's already greenlit, so to speak. So they may have already greenlit, let's say, 40 episodes. Yeah. Just throwing a number out there.
They could have done all 16 at once and, just be telling us that, half of it's season 1 and half of it's season 2. But as you say, they're already done.
They split it up into time frames when they release it. That's what they did for Kingdom, Earthrise, and Siege. Netflix gave them 18 episodes. They made 18 episodes or started producing 18 episodes, knowing that 6, 6, and 6 had to be, split into the seasons. And like FJ DeSanto said that he planned on it being 10 episodes seasons, the way that it was originally supposed to go. And the thing was that Earthrise stuff was rewritten early on, and things that got changed during the writing process. So, and stuff got left out. A lot of stuff got left out.
It seems like if they had more episodes, like 10, 15, 20, I think it could have been a better story.
But let's not forget Megatron taking his time to
a better story, but not a better voice.
Yeah.
That's funny, isn't it? It's always Megatron they get wrong. Obviously in Kingdom and that, he had them stupid big lips, didn't he? And then obviously in this one he can't talk properly. And it's just like, how can you not get Megatron right?
Yeah. So
hey guys, I gotta go pick up my daughter already. Sorry, but I really want to just hang out real quick with you and say hi as well.
Always a pleasure, man. Always a pleasure. I'll see you on the chat.
Nice.
Yeah, if you guys are still on when I get back, I might hop back in.
All right,
I gotta pick up from school. Hey, nice meeting you again, Russ.
Take care.
Very
man.
cool.
So I want to come back to that one. Does anyone feel that they never got over how Paramount missed the ball to recap. I've been saying this forever, man.
Yeah.
Gary Chalk should have been Optimus Primal. I've met Gary Chalk twice now. So I met him at RetroCon in Pennsylvania, and he was cool. He was chill. He was just like, hey! He would tell stories. He kept me for a good 45 minutes. I think it was I would say about 15 minutes. And there were people behind me. I'm like, I thanks for the chat, but there are people waiting.
Wow.
And he had jet lag flying into Baltimore for TFCon.
Okay.
And so I saw him there, and we were, he was talking to him for a while. But the night the opening night for TFCon was he was just so tired. He's like, I just need like something to eat. I just need like a drink or something. And the hotel place was closed with stuff. And I'm like, oh man, it kind of sucks. We would have got you something. And he goes, don't worry about it all. And then next day he was lively as ever. It was just, he was just tired because he came down the escalator, at that hotel, and he was talking with me and Patriot Prime and a bunch of other guys that were there. He was just chill. This really chill dude. Gary Chalk should have been Optimus Primal in Rise of the Beasts. Straight up. Like, if they had gotten Gary Chalk, the missed opportunity, man. Such a missed. I wanted to see Peter Cullen and Gary Chalk, Optimus Primal and Optimus Prime.
That would have been brilliant.
Oh, man. It would just been so great. So Flint Dilly said the Starscream's his favorite Transformer. I wanted to talk about this because I have a text message from Flint Dilly. Back when I did the interview. Do you guys remember when I did the interview with Flint Dilly?
Yeah, vaguely.
I talked to him for a good 2 hours because he can talk. So he text messaged me and he's like, hey, did people understand what I was talking about with, where is it? Here it is. It says, did they understand what I meant by Skywarp with who became Cyclonus? And I said, most people have. There will always be people that say bombshell, but why would a bug become second in command next to Galvatron? This is what I text messaged him, especially with the whole Trinity aspect of the characters, because he said that's how he keeps the characters together. We know that Starscream died, and so the next two jets become the next commanders. And he goes, why would I split up the bugs? So the bugs are the sweeps.
That's what you got to think, innit? I think that I asked Evan and that's what I asked Evan and Mark on the interview as well.
Yep. And so like that was, from the text message, like right after the stream. I took one of his writing courses too.
Wow.
Gary was your first Prime. He was also Optimus Prime in the Unicron trilogy, so that's why some people he was that way. But Peter Cullen, I think. Nothing is going to save War for Cybertron from that actor's bad Optimus impersonating acting script.
Yeah, it wasn't that good.
If you go to conventions, this is if you meet TF actors, you meet them at conventions. It's really the only place that either that or if you can somehow get in contact with one and say, would you mind doing an interview with? Had the pleasure with working with Gary and talking to him. Oh, cool. Yeah, he was also, Gary Chalk was also Gutsman in the Mega Man cartoon, the Ruby Spears Mega Man cartoon.
Yeah.
He was King Hippo and Captain N the Game Master.
No way.
Yeah. Voice actors are not respected. Yeah, that's the thing. Is to the marquee value. That's why Pete Davidson is this guy. He's got to bring the big names in. I'm not giving up hearing him as Primal. If Frank can reprise his role as Megatron in the movie, anything is possible. Yep.
True.
Do you know that there was a huge push back in 2005, 2006 time frame for Peter Cullen to be Optimus Prime in the movies.
Yeah.
Paramount did not like the idea of bringing in the voice actors from G1.
They didn't want to, did they? They didn't want to at all.
They didn't want the robots to talk at first. And they were like, no, they have to talk because they're characters. That's why Bumblebee is mute. And it only works in the first movie.
No,
it
exactly.
really only works in the first movie. After that, it doesn't work. The whole concept of Bumblebee being mute doesn't work. Because of how they're trying to convey their story, it makes sense. He got damaged in battle before I got here. I'm Ratchet. I can fix him. He can talk now. That would have ended it right there.
Yeah.
That's all they had to do. Give him a voice. Give him his voice. Also got a theory on Starscream Spark. Yeah, I could see that. Imagine Frank Welker and David Kaye as OG Megatron. I can imagine the two characters meeting and having a conversation and actually having those voice actors interact.
It's funny you should say that. There's a video on my channel, David Kaye. One of my friends, my colleagues, surprised me with it. I don't know how they got him to do it. I think it's a special paid view thing, and it's just where they say like a hello to you. But like he leaves a message. I put it on my channel. He talks because I work at a gym and I'm a PT. And he's talking about the importance of leg day and just going on about it for ages. He lifts me. What's it called? There's that where you pay the actors to leave a voicemail or whatever. And it's like it was only supposed to be 30 seconds, but it's like 2.5 minutes. And he's just going Toys R Us stuff. It's so good. If you want to see David Kaye in a completely different light, it's on my channel. Just type David Kaye in, and it's him just giving me a lecture. I'm not even there. It's brilliant.
Wow,
so good.
Wow.
Yeah, it's literally about 2.5 minutes.
Does your gym offer leg day parking?
Right outside. Yeah, you need it. It's so honestly. Yep. Bless him, it's so good. We were only expecting like a 15-second just sail out because they obviously know how much of a big fan of Transformers are, and they couldn't work out what to get me. Is it Cameo? That's it. It's Cameo, and it was only supposed to be 30 seconds, and he rabbits on for 2.5 minutes, 3 minutes because he's watched my channel as well. So he was talking about it all. It's funny.
I wanted to bring this up too because Rise of the Beast being a multiverse film or time travel film like X-Men: Days of Future Past.
Yep.
Possible. I don't think that. Well, I think that there is a theory, and I don't know if this is true or not, but there's a theory that the time travel causes the Bayverse not to happen. They in-universe reset it, but it doesn't make sense because the Last Knight made the Earth Unicron, and Unicron is going to be the one who is the boss of Scourge and Nightbird and the Terracons.
That would be cool.
So Unicron is supposed to be on a distance, like not going to be Earth in this. So do I think Porsche is a good mode for Mirage, or do I think another car? I think another car would have been better. Not that I don't think that having a Porsche Transformer is a bad thing.
It took them ages, as you say, to get the license, isn't it? That's why we never got a Masterpiece Jazz for so long, because it was even quoted. And funny enough, it was on TF Wiki, wasn't it? That they just didn't want to be associated.
I can get past him. He can resemble Mirage enough for me to say, all right, he looks different, but okay.
Yeah.
Wheeljack is the one that I'm like, you're never, ever going to accept that. Never going to accept that. Like Wheeljack, I waited to see that character since I was a kid, man. I wanted to see flashy face on screen. How are they going to do Wheeljack? I remember back in 2005, 2006, when we heard about the Transformers movies. How are they going to do Wheeljack? How are they going to do this guy? How are they going to do that guy? Those are the kind of discussions we have. Now we have old versus new.
Yeah.
Who was Cyclonus's Armando? I'm guessing you're asking about the Armada. The Armada concept was dropped in production. My Prime, Cybertron, G1, Legacy. Okay. Cyclonus is a new character, but he's also a previous character.
Yes.
how they wrote him initially. Ron Friedman wrote in his first draft was going to upgrade the Seekers in the first draft. Second draft was ancient Decepticons, life sparks were also in space with Megatron's life spark. So Cyclonus is both a new character and a previous character. So, just gonna move ahead. I know Kung Fu Hustle does not like Pete Davidson as Mirage. But wow, we missed a lot of chat, and I'm just gonna get closer to to present because we've been on for an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Goes to show you how much fun you have when you're doing these live streams.
It just disappears, doesn't it? Just totally disappears.
Time does. And people, something, I enjoy having these conversations with fans. I don't care. You love Bayformers. Even if I don't. Doesn't, we're Transformers fans. We're going to talk about this stuff until Hasbro stops making them.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
And
exactly.
Yeah, I'm iffy about the time trial being introduced so early in a trilogy. The movie is already packing in a lot of story elements. Yeah, I can understand that. I think what they're going to do is that the Beast Wars characters might actually follow the Beast Wars lore, and they are from the future, and they time travel back in time, but they time traveled back and ended up in Machu Picchu area and got sealed away, and they get reawakened. I think that's going to be the storyline for the Beast Wars characters. So I only think they're doing Maximals. I don't think they're doing Predacons.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Which sucks.
At the moment, obviously.
Mirage looks like he'd probably make a good live action Hot Rod with a proper color scheme. Yes.
Yep.
Or Sideburn. Put flames on that Porsche. And make him Sideburn.
Yeah.
Kung Fu Hustle is a fan of your videos, Russ.
Wow, brilliant. Thanks very much.
Rodimus. I can't with Wheeljack. I just can't. Russ must be very tired. Yeah, it's close to midnight for you?
It's midnight.
Oh wow. What time do you normally wake up in the morning?
I've got a 7 o'clock client, so I'll be up in about 5.5 hours.
Oh. So I should get prepared to wrap this up soon.
What time is it? Half an hour more? Is that all right?
Yeah.
All right.
I think Ron Perlman would make a good lockdown. Yeah, he would. Yes, he would. Absolutely. Yeah. I don't mind famous actors playing certain roles, but the fact that they brought Peter Cullen in to do Optimus Prime, they couldn't do the same for Optimus Primal.
That's right.
Couldn't do the same for Megatron until Age of Extinction, and
it's true though, isn't it? Because like you say, it's not as if they're huge A-list actors, so it's not as if their fee's going to be huge. I imagine you can imagine, as you say, David Kay doing, I'll do it for free. He'd be well excited to do it again.
Saichin does not like the Optimus Prime mouth. I don't blame you there. I do not blame you. Yeah, that mouth, oof, just a bit. Mirage is fine. This, crazy theory I have is that Scourge will be Optimus from the future. Possible. Yeah, large misstep. Found a Starscream toy package in Transformers the movie. I love Rodimus Prime too, man. They have Hot Rod. They're doing a toy accurate Hot Rod, and in those Walmart movie pack box, it's G1 Hot Rod in cartoon accurate colors. So it's that magenta colors on Hot Rod.
Beautiful.
Yeah, the mouth of death. Like, please put a mask on him. Yes, absolutely. Especially after I met Dan Gilvezan. He hates the live action films.
Does he?
I mean, hates them. He goes, "You're coming to tell me, the guy that, you know, he is the voice of Bumblebee. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was the voice of Spider-Man also for a generation. And Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. But you know, I meet a lot of these guys at conventions. So, but they, when I met Dan Gilvezan, he doesn't like the live action films at all because he hates the fact that Bumblebee is not. He's like, why would Bumblebee be a muscle car?
Right.
Why would Bumblebee like not get his voice box fixed? You know what I mean? Like, you know, and have not me talking like Dan saying like, why would not have me voicing him?
Where's he gone? Still there?
Yeah, hold on. Yeah.
That's right. I thought it
Do you
froze.
think they'll kill off Steve Urkel, Wheeljack, like they did in Bayverse?
Wheeljack's character in Dark of the Moon was hardly there was he, Q? And again, he wasn't really Wheeljack. Worse than the one we've got now interpretation of him in my opinion. Q or whatever they called him, didn't like him at all.
Albert Einstein looking robot.
Yeah,
I can that is easy enough for me to disassociate because his name is Q.
Yeah.
And the same thing with Dino not being Mirage.
Yeah.
Dino, I like him as a different character. That's not Mirage, that's Dino.
Yeah.
That's not like, and Dino is probably one of the bots that I actually liked in Dark of the Moon. Like for a Bayverse design, like that was actually a cool looking robot. He was red.
Yeah, he looked good.
Freaking hot looking red Ferrari like that, like just like what's it, Magnum PI, like
yeah. Tom Selleck.
Yeah, looked awesome. It was like, you know, the whole time, like the first two movies, they said like doing a red sports car, they can't do red. Red doesn't film well. Red doesn't film well. And here they had this awesome looking red sports car in the third movie.
Yeah.
Yep. Master Spy should not be muscle. I'm gonna X this this back out because we'll get back to, we can talk on and on for a while.
It's true. Totally true.
You know, if you could ask Hasbro to be a part of an official, well, okay, there we go. I just want I want to come back to that, Master Hami. I just want the grease monkey with an Italian, like. If you watch my my Wheeljack retrospective, that's me in the intro. Behold, the Dinobots.
Amazing.
You know, with a flashy face and everything.
Yeah, exactly. That's what Wheeljack should be. Of course, it should be.
The Italian New York accent that he had was more like an engineer would have, like a New York construction worker.
Yeah, mechanic, some sort of mechanic working in it. That's what.
Like, hey, you know, I'll work. You know, Dominic Santini.
Yeah.
From Airwolf.
Yeah.
Ernest Borgnine from Airwolf. That's, I wonder, because Airwolf came out. No, it would. Well, no. Airwolf aired. When did Airwolf come out?
Was it late 80s? Gotta be late 80s.
84.
Even before that? Wow. Maybe not over here then. Later over here.
Because Ernest Borgnine was Ernest Borgnine was already kind of known, right? But I mean, Airwolf came out in January of 84.
Wow.
Would they have recorded that for Wheeljack? Like, would have Ernest Borgnine's character played a part in Wheeljack's voice.
Now you're saying it, you can see it where they
You can kind of see the similarities there, right?
definitely.
But he was also in Escape from New York. You know?
Yeah, Russell, yeah.
So, and that he was a cabbie at that same time. So I wonder if that's what Chris Latta was going for when Wheeljack was voiced.
Could be.
Like they knew, like they heard, watched different TV shows and stuff and movies. So that's where a lot of these voice actors got like their ideas from. So it makes sense.
I think so too, yeah.
But at least we're not seeing live action Devastator again.
Oh, that was awful. That was the biggest disappointment. That was bigger disappointment than the 2007 movie, wasn't it? Let's be honest. It was just
I'm right below Enemy Scrotum.
Yeah, it's just no need.
Mm-mm. And I want to stress this again because I know there's still 111 people still watching. Just because we rag on things we don't like in the Bay films doesn't mean we don't like Bay film fans.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, to be fair, that's it.
I want to stress that. I have to stress it.
Again, the thing is, I think you said it as well earlier. It's like, I mean, if Revenge of the Fallen is on TV, I will watch it. If the first three are on, even the fourth, if it's on, I'll watch it. It's not that I, like as you say, I really hate it or I have a distaste for it. I just look at it and think it's a good film. I appreciate it, but in my mind and with what I know from G1, etc., it could be better. It doesn't mean that, like you say, it doesn't mean I hate it. It just means that this is all right, but it could be so much better. But that's my opinion because, as we discussed off air, our G1 is different to everybody else's. People who loved Armada could be watching it thinking, well, that's not who he's supposed to be. People who've watched RID could be thinking, well, that's not what he's supposed to be. So I appreciate everybody loves it. As I say, we don't hate on it. We just like, in our own mind, it could be better for us, but that's just us being selfish. So
yeah. Ken, maybe if I what Dark of the Moon had a lot of good elements. All the first three movies had good elements, like parts to it where you're like, okay, I can kind of, G1 Voices Hound was based on Jimmy Stewart. Yeah, I can kind of see that. Like Hound was like he was chill. He was an earth lover. He like, oh man, look at the trees. Look at the Grand Canyon. Like, oh, I can just go sightseeing for hours. Like, because that's what Hound was. He was a tracker. So like he spent so much time in the woods that like if Optimus wants to send me to go out into the woods or go out into the desert and wants to go out to the waterfalls and go check it out, yeah, I'll do that.
He was one with nature, wasn't he?
What's that?
He was one with nature. He loved it all.
Well, yeah. I mean, Beachcomber was more hippie, but Hound was just like, I just want to bask in like this is a whole new world, man. I want to check it out. Whereas like Movie Hound was Walter from The Big Lebowski.
Yes. Or
the robot form.
Or Roseanne's husband, or whatever it is. It was Dan, whatever his name is, whatever his Roseanne. Obviously, that's his real name, but I just saw that character as well.
Yep, John Goodman. Yeah, John Goodman was and not that we don't like John Goodman.
He's ace.
If they called him Bulkhead, I'm sure Bulkhead fans would be upset, but
yeah. There's loads going on in the chat, innit? I'm watching the chat as well. I know.
I'm sure the chat's like, I don't like this character. I don't like that character. I don't like this character. And we can rag on it. But there were enjoyable elements. Like I like if you told me that it changed the names of a lot of the robots in the live action films, I wouldn't be so like it. That's the disconnect. That's where the disconnect is.
Yeah.
That's not who that is. So I thought Mirage was based on Dean Martin, not Jimmy. Well, it was someone else that said that, but it could have been any one of them. Like older actors, they were kind of like, I could see Mirage, Yeah, based on Dean Martin. Battle Trap, they're actually giving him a personality. He never had a personality before. Battle Trap, the Duocon was just the gimmick.
Yeah.
So there's actually going to be a robot that's actually going to be fighting in the movie. What's his personality, I wonder?
It'll be interesting to see.
Yep. And to me, the robots should be the stars. That number one, before anything else. And I know Random Black Gamer, I know he is a Bay fan, but I give Bay Films credit for showing it's possible to make a live-action Transformers film and bring franchise more mainstream relevancy.
Yeah, nobody can argue with that. The amount of fans that
they brought
loads
it didn't save the franchise. It just made it more mainstream.
Yeah.
So it made it more mainstream relevant. That a live-action Transformers film could be done. Just like what's the very first Superman? Well, no, not the first. The first Christopher Reeve Superman movie made you believe that a man can fly.
Yeah.
Transformers would make you believe that robots can turn into cars.
That's a good analogy. I like that.
So you can't argue that, some of the best action scenes to a point. Robots that do this, you can't see what's happening. What do I mean by that? Let me take two robots. Let's have them duke it out. I got here's Legacy Bulkhead with this awesome chain gun that Fire Talks made. Check that out. And it does this. And it's blast effect compatible. And see, Legacy Skullgrain, I'm not a big fan of this toy. But anyway, this was Bayformers in the middle of the screen. Two robots fighting. You couldn't see what was happening. Because you got a worm's eye perspective. The camera is looking up. That is my issue with a lot of the Bayformers fights.
Yeah, a lot of them definitely.
Bumblebee, those fight sequences were like you saw this, whereas in Bayformers it would have been like you would have seen this giant robot head coming overhead, and you wouldn't have been able to tell because you were getting it from the human at the Transformer's foot's perspective. That first fight with Bumblebee and Barricade was literally like over your head, and it kind of like, if you see it in second row in IMAX, it's not going to be a good time.
No.
So I wish Omega Supreme was in Transformers, the movie. Read that movie was in development during season 1. Yeah, that's true. Actually, the more complete draft, the very first draft was written before the first episode aired. Like, they were killing Optimus Prime before More Than Meets the Eye Part 1 aired.
It's mad, isn't it?
The draft that is more complete is like March of 85. And by then they had already written like about half of season 2. So that's where like what we see out of the movies, out of the live, the 86 movie.
Yeah.
So, do you think Bayverse to make Transformers realistic in the Dark Knight trilogy was a mistake? It was definitely a 2000s thing. Movies wanted to be real. Let's be real. Right?
No, yeah, exactly.
Like, we can't make the X-Men wear yellow spandex.
Great line.
Batman can't, needs to like be real.
Yeah. And it doesn't have to be, does it? That's the problem. It doesn't. It's fantasy. It doesn't need to be real. It's
I know. Play it
science
straight.
fiction.
Play it straight.
Science fiction.
Yeah.
It's not real.
But you know what's great? Like, have you seen Transformers animated?
Some of them, yeah.
Yeah. I dug Transformers animated. I do. I like how the robot designs in that show were like really, even though they were exaggerated, it was kind of cool. And I honestly think that Legacy Bulkhead is more of a cross between Prime and an animated Bulkhead, more on the animated side. Great figure. Like, I really dig this Bulkhead. I remember 2020 Mechagodzilla from Godzilla vs. Kong saying he was told to make design opposite of how Bayformers looked. That is true. That is very true. You know something though? I mean, for all it's worth, I mean, the Bay films are not the worst things to ever come out. There have been worse things. Yeah. More recent media has been pretty bad. More recent cartoons where you can't like let your kids watch it nowadays.
It's right.
You know, you see some of it and you go, you're not watching that. You know, you look at it and it says appropriate for it, for kids, TVY7, and then you watch it and you go, yeah, no. My 7-year-old's not watching that. Yeah. So, what do I feel about the hot rod hate? No, Rodimus is my guy, right?
That's why they've asked you, probably.
I'm tired of it. I've been fighting for
35 years.
I've been fighting for nearly like 30 something years on how much I enjoy the character, and yeah, but I'm tired of people saying he got Optimus killed. It's all his fault. Megatron's ultimately the one who pulled the trigger.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, yeah.
No need. We don't need to talk about that anymore.
I guess I understand why Bayverse was so desaturated, considering that cars from 2000 started to become duller. Huh. That's an interesting. It's a movie that you don't have to be. There's an interesting point of view. Very interesting.
148.
Interesting. And I'm an Optimus Prime with a hot. It didn't get Prime killed. Prime got Prime killed. There you go. There you go. Prime went. It was taking too long to pull the trigger, but really Megatron took advantage of the situation.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, Megatron killed Prime, and Megatron took full credit for killing Prime. I'll prove it to you. First Prime, then Ultra Magnus, and now you.
There you go. See?
Right there. He took credit for killing Megatron. I mean, for killing Optimus. But another place that I can give you is a place that Sunbow Archive. So I want to give a shout out to these guys. This guy right here. He has a website.
The Sunbow Marvel Archive. The Sunbow Marvel Archive. The Sunbow Marvel Archive is fantastic.
That's it. Right here.
Fantastic.
So no. He's got some great interesting things. This is where Flint Dille showed off the fact that it was Shockwave who was supposed to portray Megatron. I mean, Shockwave was supposed to portray Galvatron in Five Faces of Darkness, not Blitzwing. And then, where are we? Return of Optimus Prime Part 2, full script. final 11/24/86. So Return of Optimus Prime Part 2. Go through the whole script here. Where are we? Yeah, I love this. Don't use that tone of voice with me, flesh creature. I'm running the show. So there's a line here in Return of Optimus Prime Part 2. So you plan to coat yourself with it. Who's the fool now, Optimus? You remember that part in Return of Optimus Prime Part 2, right? So that this is where the whole they get to the place where the heat resistant metal is. I don't need you anymore, Optimus. So much for your resurrection. I killed you once as Megatron. I'll kill you again.
That's sorry. That closes that argument.
Who killed Optimus Prime? Megatron.
There you go.
That's the answer right there.
There you go. He said it himself.
You know, Galvatron took full credit. I crushed Optimus Prime with my bare hands. You exaggerate. First Prime, then Ultra Magnus, then you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I love that one. The crazy scientists destroy the universe. And then in Return of Optimus Prime Part, yeah, at least Hot Rod isn't Rey or Kylo.
That's right.
Don't get me started on Star Wars, dude. Yeah, throw them dudes under the jail. Yeah. So, this has been fun.
Yeah, very good.
We've been talking for a little while. It's been fun. You know, it's fun to look at like the live action films and yeah, we can rag on them. We can also give people like credit, like, yeah, like this is kind of cool. This is kind of neat. And I'm glad that fans who are fans of it still are. And you know, they may hate G1 fans for some reason, but you won't have me saying you can't be a Transformers fan somehow. Like, I'm going to tell you that you can't because you're a fan of live action films. No,
exactly.
No, you can enjoy them as much as you want to. You can enjoy animated. You can enjoy the Unicron trilogy, even if I'm critical on them. You know,
we all like what we like.
We like what we like. You know, I've had to defend being a Transformers fan since I was 5. Not kidding. You know, I got made fun of in 6th grade for I found a G1 hot rod loose when I was in 6th grade at a toy. It was a function at my school at the time, like in my elementary school, that was selling like people were bringing their toys to be sold there.
Summer Fate or something like that.
And a G1 hot rod loose was there. And I was like, getting that one. You know, so, and it was like, you like Transformers? Yeah. And then next day, the kids that were there that were in my class made me know about it.
Reminded you of it all.
Reminded me that I was in the 6th grade and I don't know, what was it, 12? So, yeah. Those are the kind of things that I had to deal with growing up, you know, was being made fun of. So, yeah, there's no such thing as a true fan. Yep, that's true. It's true. You could be a fan of Transformers. I don't like the live action films.
That's it.
I don't like Bay's take on Transformers. That's my opinion on it. So, yeah, get flack for liking Transformers as well. Still have G1 reissue Hot Rod. till or G1 or yeah. I mean, we can I like animated. Prime, I don't like as much as animated though. Which is kind of weird because you see so many people are big time Prime fans.
Yeah,
like hardcore Prime fans. I almost wonder who is more hardcore in their fandom, Prime fans, or Bay fans, because Unicron trilogy fans are just like, yeah, I love Unicron trilogy.
Yeah,
they don't even argue. I don't never ever say you don't see Unicron trilogy fans really getting upset about Unicron trilogy stuff.
it's true. It's true.
Like they really don't. They'll equally agree that Energon was not so good. You got to do a marathon of all these Transformer shows, don't you?
Yeah, got to catch up a lot.
Yep.
Or just recap myself.
I can't believe we're getting called kidults for collecting toys as hobbies. Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. Yeah, I'm more G1 and Beast Wars and animated than I am, the later stuff. But I'm always going to be a Transformers fan regardless. Like, and I welcome more Transformers fans.
Exactly.
So, but anyhow, it has been fun. We are pushing at almost 2 hours. We've been at this for a while. We've almost held over 150 people at one point.
That's brilliant.
And we're down to like 97 at this point. But
and I feel so sorry, guys, but it's all on my. It's nothing to do with Rodimus Primal, and I would talk all night if I could. But like,
I would too.
I would
talk to everybody here too.
Definitely would. But we'll do it again sometime. I'll do it on mine, etc. It's been really good, and I'm so sorry for sort of ending it now. But it's 1 a.m. here, and I've got to get up in 5 hours.
It's also been 2 hours.
Yeah, there you go.
So, but we've had fun. And so I will gladly, I want to give something to look forward to for anyone who's still watching.
Yeah,
I've got another retrospective I'm working on I would say a popular character. So it's going to take me a bit to get that script and video finished. I have another character coming out after him. That's going to be another popular character. So 2 really big characters that I'm working on. But I also want to do some toy reviews. I want to tell you how much I don't like this Skullgrin.
Oh, he's all right. He's all right, isn't he? He's all right.
Like, I'm like, I wanted to like you. I really like this figure. Don't like this guy. That Legacy Transmetal 2 Megatron, fantastic. Just absolutely fantastic. Melvor, thank you very much for that one. I got to give you this.
Stop! Let go of my dad!
Yeah, had to bring out the Dragon Megatron. I love this. This figure is so good. Just absolutely love this figure. I'm gushing over it, man. My son constantly sneaks him out of the room. In fact, my kids come and do that all the time, but love this figure. So
there you go. You've got Robot. I've got Robot. You've got Dragon.
Dragon mode right here. Just such a good figure. Like the only thing is I would say is he needs a longer tail.
Yeah.
And I know there's a third-party kit coming out for that. And the flame is cool. To get a longer tail would probably be the only thing I could say. And maybe the face to make it look more like the Beast Wars cartoon. But yeah, we can go on and on about this for hours on end. So I am going to end it here. So guys, so stay tuned for all of my videos. Be sure to check out Toys R Us if you haven't already seen his channel. I will update the description once this re-uploads so that you'll have your link to your video. But so be sure to check him out. And as always, until next time, till all are one.
Thanks,
Say.
guys. Take care.